Welcome to the 7th session of Bridge Over Troubled Waters. This presentation is for parents, caregivers and professionals, especially those who are working with children and teenagers who are stressed and or distressed, thus causing concern for the adults in their life, whether they're caregivers, friends of the family or professionals. This is session 7. There are 10 sessions, all free and available through Facebook. This session, session 7, is all about what works. I hope you enjoy it. What works? This is the what works diagram, and it is what we're going to be going over and working through in this session. If you would like a copy of this diagram but can't copy it from the format that you have it in, please email me and I will be happy to email you a copy so that you can print it out. The email address is at the end of the presentation. This sheet is like the basic rules of what works. We must always be predictable. We should have a policy of no nasty surprises for our children and our teenagers. Teenagers particularly, and especially children with ADHD, Asperger's, oppositional defiance, or conduct disorder tendencies, are not wired to be able to cope well with change or when they do not understand things, like they need to have the big picture. You, an adult, may well think something is crystal clear, but always think and check it out with them. This does not mean, and do you understand? It means sitting down and asking questions, asking open questions to check that they understand, getting their feedback on it. Silence usually means no comprehension. So predictability is no surprises. Have plans to deal with change for your children and teenagers. Remember, silence often means that your child has not fully understood. Make sure that you keep things simple and keep things predictable. Routine. Routine, of course, is part of predictability, but it is an absolute must for teenagers as much, and if not more so, than for young children. Routines encompass everything from washing and showering, cleaning their teeth, to going to school on time, doing homework, to helping with the dishes and going to bed on time, all without an argument. It is a household expectation. However, arguments and being oppositional can sometimes be just a routine too, a habit. We want the positive habits to be the good routines of the future. Consistency and follow through. Not only is this also part of predictability, but if your children and teenagers do not see you and the other significant adults in their life being consistent and following through with what you say and what is expected, then they won't see why they have to do it either. As an adult, you will need to be 100% true to consistency and follow through. All consequences for behaviour, positive and negative behaviour, must be fair, effective and well thought through. Clear boundaries. We have already covered boundaries earlier in the program. What we're doing now is doing a short refresher. Clear boundaries. These are non-negotiable. Everyone in the household should know what the roles and rules are. They know what can be done and what can't be done. There should also be a clear and fair process for dealing with anything that is questionable. What works? This is where we see how it all goes together. So, what works? Predictability, follow through, consistency, and leading only by example. Supports. You are nothing without them. Having clear boundaries works. What they can do, what they can't do, what you will discuss with the other adults in the home and let them know the results of that discussion by a certain time. Being nice works. Contracts and rosters work. Using manners works. And then we have these points 1 to 8. Everyone around the young person being on the same page works. Parents, caregivers working at re-engagement all the time works. Parents and caregivers that consistently build and maintain respectful communication, attitudes and behaviour works. Parents and caregivers who actively work on building the emotional bank account of each other and their children works. Parents and caregivers who give clear instructions, preferably one at a time and written down, works. Being positive around your young person, giving praise and compliments where and wherever you can, works. Thinking and discussing out with other supportive adults how best to deal with incidents and behaviours. Use this program as a box of tools and strategies to do this. That works. Work out what works for your young person, what truly matters most to them, what do they really want, and how can you and they have fun times together. All the experts agree. Clear rules, clear effective consequences, and absolutely follow through. These things work. This slide is about you, and it's tips towards a positive outcome. When dealing with people, especially children and teenagers with difficult behaviours, check that your behaviours, actions and words demonstrate the following. Firstly, that you truly do understand the individual or are trying to. 2. That you are attending to the little things, which are often the truly important things in their life. 3. That you always ensure that you are keeping commitments. 4. That you clarify expectations. Your expectations and their expectations. It may take time to do this, but it's worth it. 5. You show personal integrity. This is something you as a parent must do 100% of the time. And 6. Apologizing sincerely when you make withdrawals, when you get things wrong or you don't do the above or you go below the line. Calming down. There are lots of different ways to calm down. Know though that the best way to calm down is to know that you want to calm down. At the end of the day, whether to calm down or not is mostly a choice. Here we have some questions that you can ask yourself, and you can actually teach these questions to your partner, to your children, to your friends. So here are the questions. What am I going to get if I calm down? What am I going to get if I choose not to calm down? What do I get if I throw a scene, yell, kick something, punch a hole through the wall? What do I get if I sulk, cry, withdraw, or hurt myself? As a parent, look to see what supports you are inadvertently putting in place for the unhelpful behaviours. Ask yourself, are we rewarding the wrong behaviours by ignoring the good behaviours and giving attention to the least wanted behaviours? Does my child get ignored when he or she is doing the good stuff? Do we model good ways of calming down? When was the last time I was really upset? What would the children have seen? Who in our family and friends behaves like my teen on a bad day? And what do I plan to do about it? Are there some discussions that need to be had? Non-competitive exercise is probably the best way to get rid of stress, anger and frustration. At the top of my personal list used to be 15 minutes of skipping, push-ups or running, but now that I'm a tad older it is breathing, walking, yoga, star jumps and things like that. Go over this diagram once again yourself and work out what really works for you. What do you and your family need to do? We hope that this 7th session of Bridge Over Troubled Waters has provided you with more ideas about parenting positively and confidently, and how important it is for you to know what works and to be able to problem solve. Session 8 is about when I think I might lose it and what I might do about it. Session 9 is about contracts and rosters, and Session 10 is about putting it all together and where to now. For more information about this program and these sessions, simply check Facebook, Joy U Sylvia, or email joysylvia1@gmail.com. If you found these sessions interesting and or useful, please do leave a comment, and please pass them on to your friends and family anywhere you think they might be useful. Thank you. Here are the 4 books that I currently have published. They're all available on Amazon, or you can go to my website if you wish to purchase them locally. So we have A Bridge Over Troubled Waters, a guide for managing tricky teenage behaviours. It is easy to follow and apply, and has been designed to equip both the caregiver and the professional with effective strategies for the seemingly relentless onslaught of difficult and sometimes frightening behaviours caregivers and professionals have to manage in today's society. The diagrams, together with the insightful real-life stories of parents working through the material, bring about an attitude and belief that change is indeed possible. Say No to Bullying: Factors, Challenges and Strategies. This book helps the weak become strong and the supposedly tough become true heroes. This is a book about a nasty and vicious topic that will warm the cockles of your heart. It is amazingly easy to read and hard to put down. Whether the players in these intricate and often complex bullying situations are primary school age children, teenagers, parents, work colleagues, staff, or residents in a rest home, this book explains how to deal with it and how to help the players grow, feel good about themselves and their actions, and find appropriate power. Dealing with difficult people, managing conflict, bloody-mindedness, and other intercommunicational difficulties at home and at work. Heaps of information, diagrams, and life stories to help you deal appropriately with and confidently with those difficult people in your life who misuse power, threaten, and or play mind games. Project Alpha. This is an exciting New Zealand-based adventure mystery series for young teens, so about 10 years to 14 years old. The plot involves the kidnapping of the Project Alpha CEO, with the baddies intent on stealing 3 active satellites, disabling the worldwide GPS system, and generally attempting to take over the world. So the odds are heavily stacked against Jimmy and his band of oddball adults, including the FBI, NASA, Interpol, and several New Zealand Defence Force representatives. Jimmy's mission is to save the world and capture the bad guys. Jimmy's mum has sent him to stay with his Uncle Ben, an astrophysicist and computer games designer who lives in a remote part of the West Coast Alpine region on the station that houses the observatory and the labs of Project Alpha. As an experienced social worker with a passion for personal and community development, I have particularly enjoyed the ability to weave narrative that can surreptitiously help young people deal with anxiety, difficult backgrounds, new situations, learn how to problem solve, and take appropriate self-responsibility.